It's not my fault. I didn't do it. You ever heard those excuses? You ever made those excuses? It's funny when we're kids, we'll say that. Kids will be standing there with the broken thing in front of them. And I didn't do it. But it's amazing how as we become adults, we still have that same attitude. We just do. We think things aren't our fault and we shift blame. We get more creative. We're not like kids where we just go, I didn't do it. It's not me. We kind of look to blame other people. And we often do this out of our own sense of insecurity. And a lot of people, when they flow in that insecurity, they don't want to ever own what they do. And some of it is also perfectionism. We want to do things perfect. And if we don't, we find something or someone to blame. And what we're going to talk about today is owning the journey. And we're going to look at 4 keys that you can do to take responsibility and get rid of that insecurity. Let's jump in. Hey guys, I'm David Maxwell with Thriving Man. And at Thriving Man, we help you fight the everyday chaos of life and live a thriving life. That's what we want you to do. And we lately have been doing a series on insecurity. If you go to our YouTube playlist, you can see Insecurity. You can look at the last few podcasts if you're listening. And what we're doing is we're tackling the issue of insecurity. And what we've done over the last few weeks is we've kind of diagnosed the problem. What is insecurity? How does it affect us? What's the problem with it? And now we're going to pivot and start talking about what you can do to solve the problem, what you can do to fix your insecurity. And today we're going to talk about taking responsibility. Now, that's an easy thing to say, but it's hard to do. It just is. When I first started working, I worked under a pastor. I was a youth pastor and janitor at the same time. But I worked under this pastor who was a micromanager. He looked after every little detail. And that was great for me. I needed it because I had kind of gotten by through life in a lot of ways. I was able to get through high school and even get through college. And I did some studying, but I didn't study too hard. I wasn't hardcore at it. I didn't really excel. I didn't try to do my best. So I just did enough. Well, enough wasn't enough for him. And he would get behind me and, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And it was so good for me. I would get so aggravated and mad, but it was good because through that, I learned how to take ownership. I learned how to own my actions, how to say, yes, I did this or I didn't do it. And I got better. And we need to do that because if we don't, then we become really good at playing a part where we just kind of pretend. Everything's fine. I'm good. I don't really care. And what we're doing is we're just not taking ownership. We're not taking responsibility for our choices or for what happens around us. And taking responsibility is a key to insecurity. If you really want to get rid of your own insecurity, you've got to learn how to take responsibility. It's an important part. And we want you to develop a healthy sense of ownership. You want to own your life, the choices you make, and all those things. So we're going to talk about the 4 keys to do that. The first key that you want to think about is to step into ownership. You actually have to take that step. Do you mean a physical step, like a literal step? Well, maybe sometimes. But what I'm talking about is that choice to step up. Now, I know growing up, playing football and everything, they talked about you got to step up. You got to step up. And if you look at movies and shows, a lot of characters at some point, the main character has to step up. I just finished the 2nd season of Solo Leveling. It's an anime. And there's a character, Jinwoo, who he's not going to go to the big fight. It's this huge fight that could be devastating to the world. And he decides to stay out for other reasons. I'm not going to get into it. But they get to a point where they're all getting just beat down and they need someone. And at that point, Jinwoo shows up and he steps up. And what is he doing? He's taking ownership. He's saying, I'm going to come and help. Even though I wasn't planning to, I'm going to do it. And in a sense, we have to do that with our life as men. We've got to say, I'm going to step up. And when we do that, what we're doing is we're beginning the ownership process. And we're doing it with self-ownership. We're saying, I will take responsibility. I will step up and do what needs to be done. And we do that with the understanding that the only thing we can really control is ourselves. You can't control other people. You can't control what they do, but you can control you. You can control your actions, your responses, all of those things. So what you want to do is own that. Say, I am going to take ownership of me. I'm going to take ownership of what I do and how I step up in every situation. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to own everything. You don't own other people's responsibilities or choices. You can help them, but you can own yourself, and that's the first key. The second key is to recognize perfectionism. A lot of men get into that perfectionist mode. It's that whole saying, well, if you can't do it right, don't do it at all. And that saying has merit, but sometimes we apply that to everything. And what we do is we use that to avoid. We avoid making decisions. We avoid doing things. Why? Because we can't do it perfectly, so we don't even try. We sometimes see this in people as they get older. They don't want to mess around with technology. Why? Because they're scared of it. Technology is new to them, and they're not going to be good at it at first. It's going to take them a while to learn, and a lot of people just don't want to mess with it. They can't do it perfectly. They can't do it right away. They don't get it quick, so they think, I'm just not even going to try. Well, that's a sense of perfectionism, and what it's doing is it's keeping them from moving ahead, from trying. And a lot of people do that out of their own insecurity. I can't be perfect, so I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to show my imperfections to other people. Why? Because they're insecure about it. For men, the struggle comes with performance. Men sometimes feel like we have to perform. I've got to perform at work. I've got to perform here. I've got to perform. I've got to be the best. I've got to be successful. And what happens is men sometimes when they feel like they can't be the best, they can't be number one, they back off and stop trying altogether. So they don't even try to get better. Or if their performance, maybe they do really good, but somebody does better, well, they don't look at how good they did. They look at, well, somebody was better. So then they start really backing off. And that comes out of insecurity. And the reason this is important is if your performance is what you live on, then who you are as a person, your own security will rise and fall based upon the fickleness of performance. And that's just going to hurt you. And in the long run, it's going to make you more insecure. The third key is for us to embrace failure as a teacher. When you get out of the performance mindset, what you do is you give yourself the ability to look at your performance from an outside perspective. To say, okay, maybe I did mess up. Maybe I did fail. Why? Why did I fail? What can I learn from it? John Maxwell has a book called Failing Forward, and that's what it's all about. It's about taking the lessons from your failure and learning from them. And when you do this, you're embracing a growth mindset. And it's kind of developing that attitude of why not? Why not try? You see this in a lot of do-it-yourself guys. Do-it-yourself guys are classic because they're like, hey, I've never done this. Let me do it. Let me build a house. Let me cut a hole in the wall and build a walkway. Let me do something. And what they do is they get this mindset that, yeah, I may mess up, but I'm going to learn and I'm going to get better. And we need to bring that to our life where we're not afraid to try new things. Now, there are some things that you just maybe aren't into, aren't good at, and you know that about yourself. That's fine. But are you trying new things? Are you trying to grow? Are you trying to develop? And if you're not doing that because of failure, then you need to look within and say, why am I so insecure about this? A lot of the people who are super successful, the stories they tell you are not about the successes. It's about the failures. Why? Because that's what they learn from. So if you want to overcome your insecurity, what you have to do is learn to embrace failure as a teacher. Don't go looking to fail, but understand that when you do fail, you're going to learn from it and you're going to get better. The fourth key is we want to make a mindset shift. And you say, okay, Dave, what is a mindset shift? Well, what you want to do is develop a mindset that kind of separates your performance and your own identity. You want to separate those. You want to give your best and you want to get better, but your identity and who you are is not part of that. And you want to separate that. You want to keep them separate. Now, when I say mindset shift, this is not just a one-time thing. It's a constant refocusing. It's bringing your mind back into play. This is not my identity. I'm giving my best. I'm doing my best, but this is not my identity. Whether I succeed or fail, I'm still who I am. It's kind of like when you're walking through the woods with a compass. You know that I have to go this way. I'm heading southwest. And to keep going that way, you've got to walk. But sometimes there's obstacles in the way. There's trees, there's rocks. So you go around them, but then you come right back to your setting. And that's what you want to do with your mindset. You want to come back to that setting of, this is who I am. My performance is not who I am. I should perform. I should do my very best, and I should get better. But who I am as a person, my identity is not wrapped up in that. When you separate those, then you're secure and you'll actually perform better because you won't be so freaked out by the performance. You won't be so nervous about it, and you'll be able to do a much better job. And this lack of personalization will take away that burden of performance. It'll take away that fear of judgment, that fear of other people judging you. And then you won't be so insecure about it. You'll be able to relax and really think about what you're doing. So I want to challenge you to practice separating your identity from your performance. Practice making that mindset shift, because what that does is that empowers you to authentically own your decisions, to say, yes, I made that decision. And then to be able to look at, was it a good decision or bad decision, and learn from it, but it doesn't designate who you are as a person. The decision is separate. The performance is separate from you. And that way you can look and learn from it and get better from it and know that your identity is not the performance. And this is the ultimate act of ownership. You sound like, well, Dave, wait a minute. If I separate my performance, am I not owning it? No, it's still your performance, but it's not your identity. Your identity is separate. You're owning yourself. You know who you are, and you can own your performance more because your performance is not your identity. So you can say, yes, I did that. And you know what? I blew it. I messed up. But you own it. Why? Because your identity is not wrapped up in it. So think about that this week. Think about what you're doing to separate your performance from your identity. You want to keep them separate in your mind. That way you can honestly own your performance because it has nothing to do with who you are as a person. Once you do that, you'll actually get to perform better. So guys, I hope you enjoy this series. Keep watching. We've got more videos coming out. Check the last videos out if you haven't seen them. And if you want more information, go to thrivingman.com. We have great video courses there to help you in different areas of your life. There's some on your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual. And these are there to help you grow and take full ownership of yourself as a man. So check those out, and we'll see you in the next show.